days to go for interested parties to submit their expression of interest for buying a 76% stake in Air India. But from what we have seen so far, the proposed disinvestment of the national carrier has not gotten off to a flying start. Government officials, though, still confident of being able to elicit a positive response within the next 2 days. Ashpreet Sethi joins us now with more. Ashpreet, government officials still saying that even though the response so far has been lukewarm, they're still confident and hence not extending the deadline.
Whereas the government does seem confident right now, because remember, there are 2 more days left as far as deadline for submission of formal expression of interest by interested bidders for Air India divestment is concerned. Now, what we pick up from sources is that most of these formal EOIs will be coming towards the fag end, which is tomorrow and day after. That is what the government is hopeful of as far as getting interest in the Maharaja's divestment is concerned. However, sources do tell us at this point of time that there has been a low interest as far as Indian Airlines and non-aviation entities from India is concerned. Now, what we also pick up from sources is that the government is hopeful that 2018 end deadline will be met as far as Air India's divestment is concerned. Now, let's just go through what will happen next. If the deadline is not extended, that is what sources are also suggesting right now. Deadline will not be extended once again, because remember earlier the deadline was May 15, which was extended to 31st. If it's not extended, then between June 1st to June 14th is when bidders will be giving their final bids, and June 15th is when the qualified bidders list will be put out in public domain. So this is what the process will be like, but we'll have to wait and see what happens on May 31st, whether the government will be getting the kind of response they are expecting as far as the divestment is concerned.
Okay, Ashpreet, appreciate you joining us. Kapil, perhaps brave words at this point in time from the government that they're unlikely to give a second extension to the deadline for inviting the expressions of interest. But what's the grapevine telling you, Kapil? You know, from all accounts, there seems to be a very tepid response so far.
Shireen, good evening. I maintain, and at CAPA we maintain, that the expression of interest would receive significant response. Post-expression of interest and closure of the deal, there are many milestones to be covered by the government. And I continue to believe they need to have flexibility in terms of reducing non-aircraft debt and to some extent have some clarity on labor. But EOI will receive significant interest. Post-EOI, I'm sure government would engage in a dialogue with prospective investors and try to align it as close as possible. If the government is not flexible... Are
you expecting an extension of the 31st May deadline, Kapil, or do you believe that we will be able to...
I'm not expecting a extension because...
You don't expect an extension?
Because I don't think it will matter in case they give another 15-20 days. Interested parties who are interested would come by 31st. Giving a couple of weeks or 2 to 3 weeks sort of extension would not help. What's important is post-EOI. And I continue to maintain if government is not flexible, then I think the process would get challenged. But if the government is flexible and wants to align the outcome to the investors' interests as much as possible, I think we will see a successful closure.
Kapil, 2 quick questions. Again, I go back to what you're hearing on the ground. Airlines, at least Indian Airlines, most Indian airlines have said that they're not interested. Any indications of which foreign airlines may have put in a EOI so far, or any non-aviation entities? What are you hearing?
I'm hearing that there would be interest from foreign airlines and there would be interest from other strategic investors. And we will have to wait, but I would maintain again that the expression of interest state will get a good response. But by expressing an interest doesn't mean that you will successfully close or you are there to be you will negotiate with the government for good closure. What's important is that there are key issues that need to be aligned, and if that doesn't happen and government maintains inflexibility for various reasons, which could be political as well, then I think the outcome may not be successful. But I'll just want to add one point, Shreen, that about $4 billion the government has invested. So it'll be very difficult for government to to really align it to what the investors would want and take a major haircut. The only thing that can translate this into a successful closure is the Prime Minister's personal intervention to make this work.